more than one-third of the greenhouse emissions come from the building sector. Therefore, a big step ahead for facing the climate change should be improving the energy efficiency of the buildings.
Among others, in the early 80s, the first examples of self-sufficient houses, super-insulated houses, and solar houses started to be built around the world. Then, roughly 30 years ago, somebody came with a very challenging idea: heating a house with no active mechanical systems, thus saving natural resources, having the highest indoor comfort in terms of temperature, humidity, and indoor air quality. Living in a house with very limited operational and maintenance costs, with overall energy costs for a 150 square meters house ranging around 150 to 200 euros per year. The name of this person is Wolfgang Feist, and in 1989 he developed what he called the passive house concept. This kind of buildings get the free heat coming from the sun. Therefore, the very high quality windows become a sort of natural radiator in winter. The passive house buildings are so well insulated that in the coldest day of the year could be heated up with just 30 tea candles or just one hair dryer. Excellent comfort conditions are also met in summer by shading the windows and letting the heat outside the thermal envelope with almost no energy consumption.
It is proven that more than 94% of the persons living in such a building are fully satisfied with the comfort, corresponding to the highest comfort class A according to the ASHRAE classification.
Since then on, several million square meters have been built across the globe following this building standard. Not only does passive house provide the highest comfort conditions to the occupants and the most cost-optimal building opportunities, but also a huge reduction of CO2 in the atmosphere may be achieved.
A passive house building can be realized following the so-called 5 passive house pillars.
1. A good thermal insulation, which prevents thermal losses in winter as well as undesired thermal loads in summer. 2. High quality windows optimized for the specific climatic zone. 3. Thermal breach-free construction. 4. A very high level of airtightness in order to avoid mold growth and uncontrolled and unpleasant air draughts through the leakages of the building envelope. 5. And finally, mechanical ventilation with heat or humidity recovery or single flux ventilation units according to the climatic requirements. The air circulates from the air inlets to the extraction valves while providing an excellent air quality to the occupants. In principle, all building typologies can be built or refurbished with the passive house standard. Residential or non-residential examples including offices, museums, swimming pools, schools, churches, grocery stores, hotels, banks, and many others. In particular, in the past years, our company Zero Energy and Passive House Institute for Research shortly Zephyr, has been working on different projects in Italy and in several parts of the world, including developing countries, fostering a low-cost building approach which maximizes the ratio between comfort and costs. Our unique methodology combines the passive house calculation program with a specific economic analysis in order to pursue the cost optimum for the project.
Under the motto, if you do it right, is meant that a suboptimal energy level would only limit the economic viability for further improvements, both on the thermal envelope as well as on the mechanical services. All of us should then grab the opportunity to invest on the best possible solutions and choose the passive house standard. Tons of testimonials around the world show the benefits of this approach and express the tenant's satisfaction for the interior comfort and the extremely reduced energy bills. Don't miss your chance. Choose passive house.
Zephyr, your partner for passive house worldwide.
And what we've done over the last 20 years is at every stage trying to prove that you can convert an energy system to 100% renewable. Today we see renewables at 47%. That compares to when we came into the market at 2% of electricity generation. And indeed what's fascinating is you can see across Europe we're beginning to see more than 50% of electricity being generated by renewables. That is in a relatively short time span, over 20 years it's taken us to do that. And actually that acceleration has been fantastic. But one of the challenges going forwards is not just about electricity, it's about decarbonising the whole of the energy market. So what that includes transport and heat. So on transport, I think the key policy is to go down the electric vehicle route and trying to decarbonise through change of behaviour and decarbonising at source in the technology itself. Now that has real potential. We've seen governments commit, the UK government is committed to getting rid of diesel and petrol engine, new diesel and petrol engines by 2035. That puts a lot of pressure on the automotive sector to really switch to a much more sustainable long-term form of engine in their cars. I think the bigger challenges for transport is air and freight transport and how we start to decarbonise those as well. We're already looking at some train transport looking to become electrified both in the UK but also across Europe. Air transport, tougher. We're seeing some innovations around fuels. But I think potentially in a post-pandemic world, the air industry will shift and we will see a reduction in the total number of long-haul flights, which will help in the long term. For me, the biggest challenge in the UK is on heat. And this is because 80% of our households in the UK are connected to the gas grid. And what that means is that it's very cost effective to deliver heat into people's homes at a cost that they can afford and at a comfort level that they know and understand today with gas. So what is the challenge with that? How are we going to approach that? And I think that is about technological change. It's about, can we use new fuels like hydrogen? How much biogas can we produce from waste energy, from waste product like food and agricultural residues? And where can we go on electrification of heat without undermining the benefits that we already see from the integrated gas network? And those are some of the really big challenges. Energy efficiency is obviously something that has just been announced in the mini budget in the UK. So we're seeing a load of support for households, which is great for household efficiency and low carbon investment. But I still think it's probably not a long-term strategy. The housing stock in the UK is very old. It's difficult to heat. So I think we need to see a much more integrated strategy across the whole piece. What is possible and how are we going to spend money to do that? So my personal view is we need to make sure we invest in research and innovation for new technologies. We need to look at the infrastructure that's already in place. So whether that's gas grids or road transport, and make sure it's fit for the future of low carbon. We need to look at our markets and regulation to make sure they promote low carbon at every stage. And then we need to support consumers. We need to make sure that they're not greenwashed, that what they get sold truly can deliver, both in terms of prices and carbon.